Said a hustler's work is never through. We making it 'cause we
Hello, my name is Justin Walker. I'm a graduate student at West Texas A&M University in the Masters of Business Administration program, and I am here to provide a critique of the book Appetite for America, written by Stephen Fried. Appetite for America is a biography of Fred Harvey and his biological successors who revolutionized America's hotel and restaurant industry for 3 consecutive generations. Author Stephen Fried described Fred Harvey's early life to be a dreadful ordeal. Many of his sources validates Harvey's painful beginnings and especially his health challenges. Fred Harvey was born to a poor family in London and left his household at the young age of 17, most believe the age of 15, to explore new opportunities in America. Settling in New York after 4 years of work, unfortunately he lost his job. Harvey battled with yellow fever, which caused Harvey to be bedridden for weeks. The following year, Harvey's first wife passed away as she was given labor, leaving Fred Harvey to be a single father raising 2 children. And 3 years later, when he turned the age of 30, he would mourn the death of his son. So therefore, at the young age of 30, Harvey lost his mother, his job, his son, his first wife, suffered from a painful disease, and therefore concluding that Harvey's story was truly tragedy before success. The author records that Fred Harvey's turning point originated from his poor dining experiences in local eating houses along the railroad. Fried records that the worst food in town was at the railroad's eating houses. I believe this to be true. According to history, restaurants in early America sold food out of colonial taverns and inns, but they were not generally known for their cuisine, nor was the food even ordered off of a menu. But I believe that author Fried kind of embellished the truth a little bit when he goes on to say that the food preparation was often deliberately dragged out so that the customers weren't able to finish their food, and restaurant employees would scrape the uneaten food back into containers to later serve it to its unexpected victims. After conducting some research, I didn't see any proof for this accusation, but it was a great way to intensify Harvey's passion to quickly change the status quo of the industry by the author. A recurring theme throughout this novel is Fred Harvey's ability to effectively network wherever he traveled. The author provided an accurate portrayal of Harvey's ability to make friends and acquaintances easily. In the text, his close friends helped him achieve various levels in his career. For example, his friend William Strong provided Harvey the opportunity to establish his first major hotel in Florence, Kansas. Harvey's political friends in Chicago gave Fred the backing in the Santa Fe Railroad lawsuit, and his comrade Ed Ripley, years later, would save his entire business by forming a new contract with his son Ford Harvey, which kept the entire Fred empire afloat. Some aspects of the legendary Harvey Girls seemed a little theatrical about midway throughout the biography. The authors mention of Fred losing his waitress staff to a single railroad workers, so much that Harvey had to issue business incentives just to keep the girls there employed for longer than 6 months, seemed a little unbelievable. But it was actually true. The Harvey Girls were legendary. According to the Harvey Girl Historical Society, Fred Harvey Company would recruit women via newspaper ads from towns and cities across the United States. The women had to be of good moral character, have at least an 8th grade education, display good manners, be neat, articulate, and able to work in his restaurants. In return for the Harvey Girls' employment, they would agree to a 6-month contract and agree not to marry and abide by all the rules and expectations of the company. Fred Harvey unfortunately passed away, and his son, Ford Harvey, took over the business and grew his empire to 47 Harvey House restaurants, 15 hotels, and 30 dining cars. This was worth $61 million. The author's view of Fred Harvey's downfall was rooted in the tragic plane crash and death of Freddie Harvey. Freddie's sister Kitty took his death the hardest. The legal wars from Freddie's in-laws and Kitty's uncle, Byron Harvey, and his persistence to keep Kitty from buying into the company caused Kitty to retreat and sell her company shares. But I believe the actual breakdown of the Fred Harvey franchise was at the hand of a new competitor, and that was the Howard Johnson restaurant chain. Journalist Charles Ferruzza states that the dining in the train stations has lost its allure. The new big name in chain restaurants was Howard Johnson. Howard Johnson had clean, casual dining rooms along the major highways. Howard Johnson took everything that Fred Harvey had created and modernized it for the automobile era. The life of Fred Harvey has been an inspiration to many for decades, and now me as well. Harvey's work ethic and strong desire to make every penny of his count has inspired myself as a small business owner. I believe Harvey's empire was built on three critical pillars that every aspiring CEO or entrepreneur should model. The first pillar is to develop a healthy network. Fred insistently networked with businessmen and women, politicians, sales agents, farmers, manufacturers, and many others in vocations synonymous to his organization's mission. The second pillar is to develop an organizational accountability system. Fred continuously traveled weeks at a time to conduct surprise pop-up visits at his eating houses and hotels to ensure his business goals were achieved. And the last pillar I believe his company was founded on was effective marketing strategy. Fred Harvey and Ford Harvey tenaciously advertised their business by traveling throughout the Midwest and West Coast to market the Fred Harvey.
Partying like it's your job. Work hard, play hard.